Hopped off the Porsche. Porch. Hopped off the porch, jumped on a plane. Never been the same. I run the game, went through my sneaks. Late night they creep. I spot the ops, y'all getting preed.
I hide the dope inside the sink. Bitch, I'm the plug. I feed the streets. Up like the ceiling. I'm high like Venus. Jump in the booth, unleash the beast. Run me the check, bitch. I'm about that action like an assassin. I pulled the beat inside the casket. Pass me the mop. I clean the op. I serve the block.
Y'all counting coins, y'all counting C's. I count the racks, fly overseas. I see your neck, she loving me. When spending the night, this dick ain't free. Henny with the bop like. Henny off the rocks like. This shit blocks. 808 like Debo, come and knock you out your socks. Knock you out your lights, run it out on sight. Locate your trap, invade your sight. Give girl the pop, fuck up your life, fuck up your day, fuck up your neck.
Out at the porch, jumped on the plane. Never been the same. I run the game, run through my sneaks. Late night they creep. I spot the ops, you're getting preed.
So lifted, sky high drifting around the clock. Jocko did this swiftly, knitted, dressed in linen, moving low. Young boy, go get it, go get it. Young boy, he said it, he did it. Young boy, go get it, go get it. Young boy, he said it, he did it. Crying out like this, I'm not the artist. Slave to my conscience, today I accomplish. I wanna be a bird, here it comes as an ostrich. Leave it to the scums in the middle of my speech. You need it. Young boy, go keep eating. Young boy, don't stop feeding. Run to the sun, stay leading. You don't need no wind, no fear, no giving. Lifestyle trash, pants all gritty, got holes from the ash while running with a mask, don't ask. Cash, leave it all dash and get past. So I left it and I never look back. I can't stash with the ease. All this kid wanted to do was fly, so please. Let him take flight. Boy, gifted, heights all lifted, sky high drifting around the clock. Jocko did this swiftly, knitted, dressed in linen, moving low. Young boy, go get it, go get it. Young boy, he said it, he did it. Young boy, go get it, young boy, he said he did it.
Young boy, pull up in the noise. Niggas moving fishy, we swerve ducking the coys. All black shit, the drip looking like soy. We're privy to all your ploys. Look what we did, nothing that made a win. Knew I was different, even from all my friends. Different from my peers, and niggas weren't prepared. Nothing I've ever feared, I'm hanging from chandeliers. KV did this, Mango did this. Slicko linen, walking, limping. Where's my pimp stick? Peep my vision. Kaufman lifted, Neptune with it. Please, all this boy wanted to do was fly. Little kid out here making all these moves. Let him take flight.
Young boy, gifted, heights all lifted, sky high drifting around the clock. Jocko did this swiftly, knitted, dressed in linen, moving low. Young boy, go get it, go get it. Young boy, he said it, he did it. Young boy, go get it, go get it. Young boy, he said it, he did it.
Oh dear.
What's up? Whoa, Tame Impala going crazy on Instagram. What is going on, everybody? My name is Tom, aka Dear. This is Dear Melb. This is Dear Melb. This is Dear Plus. Welcome to another live stream. Thought we'd keep it pretty chill today. I'm just sort of like tying up some loose ends. I've got some beats that I want to upload to my BeatStars page. If you would like to check out any beats. Ooh, I'm really orange. Yeah, who cares? If you want to check out any beats that you can license that are made by me, check out my BeatStars page, which is down the bottom of this. Let's pull this up. There we go. There we go. dml.com.au/beats for sale. That's with little dashes in between. You can check out all those beats that I've been posting. This is one that will soon be up there. I need to make sure that yes, there is no lyrics because I tried to sing on this song and mamma mia, it was bad. Got the gif of the day down the bottom. My boy Spider-Man from what, 1960s Spider-Man? I love that cartoon. I used to watch it as a kid. Very, very fun. Let's pull this up so it's all right. Yes, I might just resize that. Hold on. Resize, baby. Yeah. Lock that. Lock that. And we're good to go. Okie dokie. How have you guys been going? Feeling good, feeling great, still in isolation. The Victorian bans have been lifted slightly so you can go see your family, which is good. But yeah, just still at home making as many beats as I can, seeing as it's, you know, that time. So I thought I'd just jump on live and do this because I'm just sort of like going through some old beats that I've made and then just sort of labeling them, putting my tag on them. Going good, my mans. Thank you, Leilani, for joining. You are in the other room, so you could just say hey, but I'm glad that you commented. Very cool. Yes, I thought I'd just go through some old beats, just clean them up, label them, get them ready to export, and then, you know, publish them when they're ready to. So let's just do that. If you've got any questions or concerns, let me know in the comments. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you have. I like this beat. This is cool. Kind of like a Juice WRLD type thing. Nice and simple. Very simple. Very cool, alright. Well, these are the kicks. Drums, kicks. Drums, claps. These look like percussion, yes. Whoa, that's wild. Some hats. And then this is the bass, 808, 808. Nice, 808. What is this? Some bass, some more bass. Sounds like the 106 Juno. Yes. 4%. What is that? Oh, it's a 808. Not used though, and this is a sample. Nice sample. guitars. I usually like to color code things as well because I'm OCD and group things, so that will be sample, and then I write delete because when I export them I don't want the group stems, I just want the individual tracks. Bass delete. So you can do assign track and it makes it all clean, it makes it all color coded, and these are the drums. We're gonna group those, call it drums, delete, make them blue, and assign to group tracks. There we go. That is nothing. Are we using many reverbs or delays? I don't think so. No, doesn't look like it. They can be deleted. Anything on the master? No. Cool, and we'll give it a quick mix. The kick is sounding a little heavy to me. Stuff. Now we have a pretty clean beat. 2 minutes 45-ish. That's pretty cool. So I've noticed that I've got my master down here at -5. So I usually do that just so I stop peaking and I don't like distort anything as I'm making music. But when I master, I kind of find that I need to have this at 0. It kind of gives me a better idea of how much mastering I need to do. If anything's like peaking too much, I need to reduce it or anything. So usually I'll just, the good thing about having all these in groups is that I can just grab them all together and I just minus them by 8, which should technically, if I'm peaking at 0, and I'm minusing it down -5 and it's not peaking, it should give me a little bit, hopefully roughly about 3 decibels of headroom, which is a nice place to be in. So we'll just play that. It might sound a lot quieter though. That's alright, we'll boost it up. Anyway, we'll go to the chorus. Looking good so far. Which you can't really see. Anyway, we're all green. By about 3 decibels, maybe a little bit, anywhere between 1 to 3 decibels, which is cool. So I'm going to make another track. I'm going to group that, and this is going to, I usually like to bounce out all my masters, or bounce out all, like essentially print the track. I like to print the track just so it sort of, it allows everything to be in a certain place, and when I reopen the track, it's not going to be too different. I don't really know why I do this. It's sort of just like a last measure. One is so I can master it. So I can master it in the same project file, which is not recommended. However, to speed up the process, I've found that it's just easy to do it in here. Because these are not finished songs, they're just more or less beats that I can send out to people. I find that if I just bounce them out and then do a little light master on the group, then that's usually good enough. So we'll bounce this out. I usually change this X in to master, turn that off, have that on in and record, and then that should record on here without looping back and going, feeding back and going crazy. So we can sit back and we can listen to the song. do a post on Instagram while it's happening, so I can let some more people know that I'm on live. Little Pet just started following me. DontGiveAfuck.com. That's interesting. Whoa, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 is coming out on September 4th, 2020. To what? Platforms? That sounds interesting. I'd definitely play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. Very cool. Cool stuff. What do you think? Do you like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater? I used to play it a lot as growing up. I used to skate. Well, I still skate. Never say that I stopped skating, but I don't do it as much. Let's say that. I'm gonna message a few people to let them know that I'm live streaming while this is still going on. Because I framed it nicely, but right to my right of me, which is actually to the... Oh wait, hold on. I'm facing the wrong way. What the hell? Let me flip that around. There we go. Yes, to the right of me is... Wait, is that really? There we go. I'm so confused. Anyway, that's done. I was recording some vocals last night, and it was, oh yeah, no, that's right. I think that's right. Yeah, I was recording some vocals last night. I have a big vocal booth here that I've constructed out of wood and thing. But I thought after this we could potentially go through those vocal takes and potentially comp the vocals that I recorded. I can show you, I can kind of go through the process of how I record vocals usually, or I guess recently figured out how to. Well, I don't know. I've sort of watched a few ways of how people record vocals, and like I always like to do things in like broad brush strokes and try not to get caught down on the finite things. So I usually try and record a lot of vocal takes, vocal take, until I'm sure that I've most likely got something good in the 10 to 15 takes that I've done. And then I'll go through and listen to them all and take out the bits that I think are the best takes out of all that section. And that sort of helps me from, sort of like separates the job out, so I can record all the vocals and then come back at a later date and then just like finish it, rather than like doing 2 vocal takes and being like, oh, I need to sing this part over again, or I need to sing that part over again. I find it usually helps. Anyway, so we'll turn off all of the routing, and now we're left with a bounced out version of the song. And now I can add my tag in, which of course is a must. Classic.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Here it is. Very nice. Usually add that because we're uploading it to a place where people can download it for free if they want to. I usually put my tag like let's do some mastering. So I have some plugins that I usually use for mastering. I usually use this CLA 76 compressor at the start. This is notoriously a pretty punchy compressor. And I usually like to try and aim to get that maximum gain reduction. I'm not really going to go over how a compressor works. If you don't know how a compressor works, do some Googling or YouTubing, because that's sort of how I figured out how compressors works. But basically, it just squashes the signal to make it a little bit more even. And in mastering, you kind of want to... I don't know if I'm the best person to talk on this, but essentially in mastering, you want to be able to make your song as loud as possible, or as loud, not as loud as possible, but you want to be able to match the loudness to a radio standard track. So that usually is anywhere between -8 RMS to, like, I think now, like the Travis Scott, the last Travis Scott album was like so loud. I think I saw it at like -2 RMS, which is like distorting in some things, but like it's a bit full on. Mike Dean has done a crazy job at mixing them. I think he mastered it. I know he definitely mixed it, but yes. Anyway, rambling. So essentially all I want to be doing is squashing it a little bit and just sort of like evening out the bits that because I haven't done a full mix obviously on this. It's sort of just like how I've made it going through. And so this, I usually use 2 compressors and a limiter, and that usually does what it needs to do, makes it loud, so when someone hears it, it's like maybe a little bit louder than all the other songs that are not as mastered as this one. And so it's hopefully in my mind giving it a little bit more chance to be like, whoa, this sounds really punchy and loud and good, and I want to rap on it or sing on it or whatever. So yes, I'm looking at this gain reduction thing and aiming it for around that -3, -2 mark. And if we go here, we can see it's punching much more than that. So I'm going to lower the input a bit until we get it to sit around there, which is maybe a bit lower than that. That's looking pretty good. So this is obviously like the loudest part of the song. You don't want to be doing it in the quietest part, because obviously it's not going to be doing anything. But this has all the bass and the kick and the snare and all that, so we'll do it there. And then I want a fast attack and a fast release. So fast attack is all the way to the right. So it's like 0.7 of a second, I think it is. I don't know what these are. I think it's 0.7 of a second. But you can see that it's the needle, gain reduction needle, is sort of moving at a quicker rate. So it comes on quicker, but then it also releases quicker. So you kind of get a more transparent slash punchy thing. So it's like evening out all the what are they called? Oh my god. I want to say transistors, but they're not transistors. They're it's got it on this. Hold on, I'll pull this up. Audio effects from. Don't put it on this. Transients. It's messing with the transients in more of a real time rather than like a slow. Okay, so I do that. That's punchy. Sort of taking care of a lot of like the punchy kicks, snares, percussions, any sort of stabby synths in the high register. And then now what I want to do is I want to put on another compressor, one that is a slower attack. And the slower attack, what the slower attack will do, sorry, this comes in at bringing the volume up much louder. So I'm just making the volume 32. I've found is a transparent volume. So when you put it on or take it off, it's not adding any volume. So what I want to do with this one is has a set attack already, the CLA 2A. And so what you want to be just setting is the peak reduction. And this compressor takes care more of like the low end, so the slower attacks, the maybe more vocals, the lower end bass, and stuff like that. So yeah, patty synths, anything like that. And the same thing, I wanted to sort of like hit around that -3, -2 mark. If the CLA2A is hitting the -3, I know I'm sort of like pushing it a little bit too hard, and so I kind of like that around 2, but can forgive if it goes to -3. Another thing to point out is these analog things down the bottom are only just adding in noise, so I usually turn them off. That's about it for that. And then I add the L3 multi-maximizer in stereo, and this is a multi-band limiter, which I find is very transparent and very nice. And so the way that the difference between a limiter and a compressor is more or less just a threshold. So a limiter is more of a higher threshold. This is so complicated to get into. Again, if you want to know more about limiters and compressors, do some YouTubing, do some Googling, and read about how they work. But essentially, what this is doing is squashing it even more and bringing it up to level. So this attenuation meter here will show you how much the plugin is doing, or the limiter is doing. And so right now it's not doing anything. You don't see any movement of these bars up here. You don't see any attenuation. And as you'll see, as I increase or decrease the threshold, sorry, the volume will be going up, and you'll see the attenuation slowly but surely start to work. And it usually won't happen until this is sort of past these blue meters. So we'll get to a point in the chorus that has a lot of action going on. We'll lower this down. We'll see that start going. 4.7 is pretty crazy. I usually try and aim again around 3, -3, -4. If you click on it, it sort of resets itself. And this out ceiling is just the output volume, so you can change that as much as you want, but usually if you're mastering something, you want to have it be the maximum peak is 0 decibels. So I usually set it at that. You can, sometimes people set it at like 0.1 just for a little bit of mastering, a little bit of extra headroom, but I usually just do 0 is fine. And so all this stuff you see here is just what the limiter is actually doing. So you can see there's a lot of action going on around the anywhere between 64 and 250. So it's limiting that more so, which is around where the kick is hitting. So the kick is maybe a little bit loud compared to everything else, which is fine. I don't mind. I find that having a loud kick is kind of nice. -3.6 is sounding good. Then we'll just check the RMS. I usually like to do that with an Isotopes ozone equalizer. That has a nice thing. We hit -3. That's a loud song. So I could probably -2.9. Wow. So I can probably ease back a little bit on some of the compressors. So this thing I can maybe dial back a little bit. Same with the CLA. I can dial CLA2A. I can dial back a little bit. And then this because again, you don't want it to be too loud. That's still pretty loud. Sounded pretty good. So that's about it for mastering that I usually do for beats that I'm uploading to like BeatStars or whatever. But yeah, let me know. I don't fucking know. I'm just doing what I feel is like in my head the right thing. But you know, I feel like I'm not going to be too precious with this stuff because it's not a final song. It's going to someone else. They may or may not use the final thing that I've got. They always have my contact details that I can be like, yo, this master is too loud. Can you send me something a little bit softer, or something that's not as mastered, or you know, or they can essentially buy the track outs if they want. They can buy the stems. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is I'm not being too precious with the master. And then what I'll do is I'll just export. I'm going to export as an MP3 because it's a tagged, and then I've got everything saved in a specific folder. What are we going to call this song? Tagged MP3s. We're going to call it dun, 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 dun. It's kind of like a Juice WRLD, something about Lost Love. That sounds cool. Lost Love, produced by Deer. I'm going to save that. That's going to render out, and that's that done. Now I'm going to bounce out a wave without the tag, and then now that we've got all our tracks named, I'm going to bounce out all the tracks individually and show you how to do that. But yeah, pretty cool stuff. Ding, 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 ding. So if you like this song, in a few days it will be up on BeatStars. If you like this beat, be up on BeatStars. You can check it out. You can live stream. You can license it. You can buy the track out. You can do whatever. Just hit me up. It's all cool. All right. So that's the thing. That's the wave. No, that's the tagged MP3. We're going to turn off the tag, and so it's just the song, and then I'm going to export it the same, master, WAV, and then we're going to go BeatStars and go untagged wave, Lost Love, produced by Deer. Too bloody easy. Feeling good and no technical errors. I really hope like my mic hasn't been off the whole time or something. That would be so annoying. No, it's still gone. It's good. We good. We Gucci, baby. We rolling. Mamma mia. Okay, and now, because I've done all that, I don't need these masters anymore. I can delete that, and now we've just left that. I'm going to save it because I've already saved it as Beat 205. We're going to go export, and this time instead of master, I'm going to go all individual tracks, and then make sure it's on WAV, and then I'm going to go export, and then in my BeatStars folder in trackouts, I'm going to make a folder called Lost Love, and in there, I'm just going to save it, and then it's going to render out the master file, and then all the individual files, and then I'll show you what I usually do before I upload, well before I usually compress it to a zip file or whatever before I upload it to BeatStars to help with the upload speed. But you'll see in a second as it uploads, you'll go through all the tracks. It's taking a lot longer than usual. Usually it goes. I hope I'm doing the entire song. Let's see, shall we? BeatStars, trackouts. What do we call it? Lost Love. There it is. Cool. So here it is in the folder, and then we can clearly see all these ones that we need to delete, because what it's doing is it's exporting both the bass Juno and the bass 808 into this single track, which we don't need that one because we already have the bass 808 and the bass Juno as separate tracks here. So this one we can delete, drums we can delete, sample we can delete, and then I usually just delete the final, the main bounce out, because we've already got a bounce out of the main file anyway. So move to bin, and then we're left with, man, that beat is literally, how many things? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tracks. Now that is a small beat. Not that many tracks. Anyway, and then we'll go compress Lost Love. And now it's in a zip. And it's slowly but surely compressing, as you can see here. And then that's it. That's how I upload to BeatStars. I don't know if that's helpful at all, but I don't know. Maybe we can do some fancy YouTube title, and then a bunch of people will click on it, and I'll get roasted for doing some stuff that's incorrect. Cool. Alright, well, I'm gonna open up. What am I gonna open up? 259 vocals. 259 is a song that I've been writing for the last few weeks. What is it called? I don't know what it's 100% called just yet. I think it's called... Yeah, right. What is the chorus? How's the chorus go? Is Love Forever, that's right. Is Love Forever. It might just be called Forever or Love. Or, I don't know, I haven't figured it out. Anyway, this is the beat. Maybe I'll play a bit of the beat. And so, usually what sorry, I know. Maybe I'll do it while I'm talking over the beat, that's fine. There's actually a little intro that I forgot to... Cool. Usually what I do when I am recording my own vocals or when I'm recording other people's vocals is I'll usually have the beat in a separate file, and because sometimes the beats can, get very large in track numbers and your CPU usage is going through the roof if you've got an older laptop. So I've found that if you just bounce out the song as is and label it instrumental or whatever, then bring it in a new file in whatever, Ableton or Logic, or I haven't actually ever seen anyone track vocals in Fruity Loops, or FL Studio, but it could be possible. I think it must be possible. Anyway, so I'll bring it into a new file, and then I'll also bring in any demo vocals that I've done in the thing. So sometimes I'll just like mumble some stuff with the intention of re-recording them later. And yes, I'll set up these sort of like groups where I have one active track and then the rest of them are deactivated. And I'll sit there and I'll put any vocal effects on the group channel, and I'll just sit there and I'll record however many 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 versions of the first verse, 10 versions of the second verse, 10 versions of the chorus, and then I've obviously done some harmonies here as well. Well, not obviously, I have done some harmonies here. And then at a later date, I'll come back, or after I've recorded everything, I'll come back and then I'll be like, okay, so I was clearly at a point where I was like, I've definitely got something by the end of it. So I'll usually start with the last one. We'll listen to what it sounds like. Please mind you, I'm not necessarily a singer. I'm a vocalist. I would say that. I don't know. I'm working on my singing. I like to write songs, so I've found that I'm enjoying writing songs at the moment with my vocals. That being said, I'm not a strong singer, so cut me some slack, okay?
I can't remember where you placed it.
Very nice.
Can never feel the way it did.
Deep stuff.
Nothing ever goes wrong. Time to make it on your own. Sounds that make you feel at home.
Oh yeah.
Seems you're better off alone. No, nothing ever goes wrong. Yeah, it's time to make it on your own.
Very cool. I didn't really hear too much wrong with that one. There was maybe this second last one was a little bit. I'm going to chuck some reverb on just to kind of smooth some stuff out. I've got that valid delay. I forgot about that. I should use that. Vintage verb I like. And then there's a nice one on here that I like in Don Gun. The pop vocal. And then I can just send that maybe like -5.
No, nothing ever goes wrong.
Ooh, that's a bit much. That's a bit much. Maybe a little bit less. Kind of want like more of a roomy tone rather than.
Could never feel the way it did.
Yeah, maybe I need a actual reverb on.
Can't remember where you placed it.
Oh no, that's bad.
Could never feel the way it did. Nothing ever goes wrong.
Oh no. Also because we're sending. Oh, we gotta put it on here. That's why. Anyway. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Sending the reverb through the autotune, probably not the best idea.
Get on your own.
Okay, that's better. Rooms, I like small.
Get on your own. Is love forever?
You can split up the chorus and the verse.
I can't remember where you placed it. Could never feel the way it did. Nothing ever goes wrong. Time to make it on your own.
Don't everything.
Sounds that make you feel at home.
Now, I'm not really thinking too much right now. I'm sort of just like, I don't know. There's like, I get to a point when I'm making music where I've heard people describe it as like a flow state where you're like, you're just sort of like working on things and not really like, you're doing things without, not necessarily thinking. You're thinking about it, but it's like, it's just, it's what's coming natural to you. So I kind of get lost in this motion a little bit. So I feel like I want to EQ it a little bit. I know my microphone has a bit of low end to it, and usually something like that works nicely with the Ableton EQ.
Can't remember where you placed it.
There you go.
Could never feel the way it did. Nothing ever goes wrong.
Kind of like that. I want this to be louder.
To up. Can't remember where you placed it.
I also want it to be. Oh, I don't know. I'm doing too much to it.
Remember where you placed it. Could never feel the way it did. Nothing ever goes wrong. Time to make it on your own. Sounds that make you feel at home.
Still not sold on the reverb though. I like this one from Sound Toys, the Crystallizer. It's not necessarily a reverb per se. It's more, it's like a I don't even know, a granular echo synthesizer. Interesting. But it has a nice preset called Core Star, which sounds like this.
Yeah, can't remember where you placed it.
Sort of like a mix of, again, I put it on the wrong track. It's kind of a mix of delay and reverb, and it sort of makes it ethereal and yummy.
Remember where you placed it.
Delicious. But
Could never feel the way it did.
I usually drop the splice a little bit,
Nothing ever goes wrong.
and the mix a little bit.
Time to make it on your own.
It's nice. There's another one, Micro Shift, which kind of splits some stuff up as well, which I don't mind.
Remember where you placed it.
There we go.
Could never feel the way it did.
Kind of a nice chorusy.
Nothing ever goes wrong. Time to make it on your own.
There we go.
Sounds that make you feel at home.
And here I'm not really like, I'm just experimenting. I'm like turning knobs slowly and moving things slightly to kind of get to a point where I'm like not necessarily like 100% happy with, but in a zone where I can move on to the next thing, or at least have a place where I can put the vocals, which allows me to then not necessarily concentrate on the tone of it, but more the wording and the phrasing and being able to comp it a little bit more. I don't know if that makes sense.
Can't remember where you placed it. Can never feel the way it did. Nothing ever goes wrong. Time to make it on your own. Sounds that make you feel at home. Seems you're better off alone. No, nothing ever goes wrong. Yeah, it's time to make it on your own. It's love forever.
You can tell the difference between those two already. Actually, no, you can't, because it's the same vocals. Well, what am I talking about?
Make it on your own. It's love forever. To forget another life. Have you given it a try?
See right there, I hate that take. Hate that take. Do not like that take. So let's try and find another one. It's not going to be that one.
It's love forever.
Is love forever?
It's love forever. To forget another life.
That's good.
Have you given it a try? It's love forever.
Like that. Alright.
I need more space to clear my mind. I know these thoughts are only mine.
Cool. So let's just try and find a different is love forever at the start.
It's love
A
forever.
little bit harder. Don't necessarily love that. It's like I don't want it to strain, but
It's love forever.
The other thing I wanted to do with the chorus is double track.
It's love forever. To forget another life. Have you given it a try? It's love forever. It's love forever.
That's not bad.
To forget another life. Have you given it a try?
Just labeled it a different color so I know that I don't mind that one. That could be a one to come back to.
It's love forever.
Ooh, that's not bad either.
It's love forever.
Kind of don't like that it goes love forever, but I did like the note.
It's love forever.
Nope, not that one. These first takes are probably not going to be great, but
It's love forever.
oh, that's good.
To forget another life. Have you given it a try? It's love forever.
Alright, I'm going to make a new group for the chorus. For this one, chorus. And right now we're sort of just playing with stuff. Still sort of like keeping it all in the family. But I just want to be able to put these on separate tracks so I can pan them left and right, because I want to do different. I want to double track them. That's all.
It's love forever.
So obviously that's way too loud. What do we have that at? 0 and -3, really? Seems like it should be a lot more.
It's love forever. To forget another life. Have you given
Alright, now we need to find to forget another life. Have you given it a try? Let's try this one.
It's love forever. To forget another life. Have you given it a try? It's love forever. I need more space to clear my mind. I know these thoughts are only mine.
It's not bad.
I need more space to clear my mind. I know these thoughts are only mine. I need more space to clear my mind. I know these thoughts are only mine.
It's kind of cool. I like that.
Is love forever? To forget another life, have you given it a try? Is love forever? I need more space to clear my mind. I know these thoughts are only mine.
Bring the to the same spot. And obviously there's a lot of breaths and inconsistencies in syllables and what are they called? I forget. My words are coming out. I can't think of them. But again, I'll do that at a later point. It's all about broad brush strokes. Get everything in, and then once everything's in and put it into the old project, then you can tweak, refine, minute detail.
I need more space to clear my mind. I know these thoughts are only mine.
Very cool. We're starting to run up on the CPU. That's cool. I'm going to lower my sample rate because I don't need to record anything. That's cool. Okay.
Can't remember where you placed it. Can never feel the way it did.
Cool.
Nothing ever goes wrong. Time to make it on your own.
I'm going to delete the micro shift because we're double
Sounds
tracking.
that make you
They're
feel
already going to be
at home.
stereo. I don't need the individual tracks to be stereo.
Seems you're better off
That-
alone.
I'm going to move the crystallizer onto the group.
Nothing ever goes
So
wrong.
it's just one instance rather than...
Yeah, it's time to make it on your own. Is love forever? To forget another life, have you given it a try? Is love forever?
Got a good spot. It's cool.
I need more space to clear my mind. I know these thoughts are only mine.
Alright, second verse. Same deal. Put it straight on the... And now the second verse is going to be easier because I've already done little mixes and stuff like that. I can more or less just find the takes that I like. So let's see if the last take is good or if it's poo-poo like the last chorus.
Spell it out and say my name.
Not as strong. I want it to be a little bit stronger.
Yeah, don't you ever play the game? So much time to make amends.
Something like that.
Never breaks, it only bends. Tell them that this time you're gone. Another one you must ignore. If nothing ever goes wrong, yeah, you cannot make it on your own.
Yeah, I don't love that take. Let's try this one.
Spell it out and say my name.
Ooh, something like that.
Yeah, don't you ever play the game? So much time to make amends.
Too soft, guys. Let's come on.
Spell it out and say my name. Yeah, don't you ever play the game? So much time to make amends. It never breaks, it only bends.
I didn't mind this one. This is another way you can do it. It's just sort of like listening.
Spell it out and say my name.
That's cool. I like that one. Spell it out and say my name.
Spell it out and say my name.
Oh, that's a nice strong one.
Spell it out and say my name.
I think I want it to be a bit stronger. So maybe that one is better.
Spell it out and say my name. Yeah, don't you ever play the game?
If nothing ever goes wrong.
So much time to make amends.
Not that one.
So much time to make amends. much time to make amends.
That one's not bad.
So much time to make amends.
I like that one.
It never breaks, it only bends.
That one's not bad.
It never breaks, it only bends.
That one's pretty good, maybe.
It never breaks, it only bends.
Oh, that's the best one so far. Let's use that. And the other thing is, like, once you pick like a comp, once you comp a vocal, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's the final thing. You kind of, what I like to do is I'll comp it all and then obviously bring it into the old project with the beats, all the beat stems and stuff, and I'll just sit with it for a bit, listen to it. If anything, after a while, usually things start to show themselves, that things that you don't like about the take, things you don't normally notice on the first thing, like a slur or a way you pronounce a thing. You might think it's like different at this, like when you first hear it, you're like, oh, that's cool, that's different, and then you listen to it 5 times, you're like, I hate the way that I say that, so annoying, I don't care how different it is, it's just annoying. So I'm again, broad brushstrokes, just trying to get things done, moving on to the next part. It's not about trying to, I really find that a lot of my time and effort goes into actually like sitting down and trying to make music. And so when I'm in it and doing it, I want to be trying as least as possible. So like the easiest path to go down is usually, for me, the best one. And that doesn't mean that I'm not going to come back at a later date and change things, but as long as I'm moving forward and getting to the next stage of the song, then I find it a lot easier to move forward and, you know, whatever I'm trying to say.
Tell him that this time you're gone. Tell him that this time you're gone.
I like that one better.
Tell him that this time you're gone. Tell him that this time you're.
Anyway, we don't have to listen to 100 of those.
Another one you must ignore. Another one you must ignore.
It's not bad.
Another one you must ignore. Another one you must ignore.
We're all pretty similar over here. Let's just drag one up. These parts are going to be a little different, I think. Now I'm going to stay around here because I think
If nothing ever goes wrong, you cannot make it on your own.
a little shaky on the thing.
If nothing ever goes wrong,
Nope. What about this one?
you cannot make it on your own.
No.
You cannot. If nothing ever goes wrong,
Not that strong.
if nothing ever goes wrong, you cannot make it on your own.
That's a tricky line for me. Can I make it on your own? It's a bit, maybe, it's a bit too fancy.
If nothing ever goes wrong, you cannot make it on your own. If nothing ever goes wrong,
See, that was a good one. I like that.
if nothing ever goes wrong, you cannot make it on your own.
That was good as well. Let's use those two. Alright, let's see this. Nope, it's turned off.
Spell it out and say my name. Yeah, don't you ever play the game. So much time to make amends. It never breaks, it only bends. Tell him that this time you're gone.
here.
Is love forever? Get on your own. Is love forever? To forget another life, have you given it a try? Is love forever? I need more space to clear my mind. I know these thoughts are on my mind.
You get to the second half of the song, there's no instrumental parts. Cool bass line. Cool. I like that song a lot. Alright, let's do some harmonies. Did some kind of weird harmonies because I hadn't really the demo vocals that I had in here didn't have any harmonies, so I was like, what could we do for harmonies? So I tried this one.
Can't remember where you placed it. Can never feel the way it did. Nothing ever goes wrong. Time to make it on your own.
I really like Julian Casablancas on the Daft Punk song. He has this like close harmony that like sits barely underneath that you can faintly hear. Obviously the mix is obviously going to be a massive part of that, but it sort of just like supports the vocal in the key a little bit, which I kind of like. I don't really know if this does the same thing, but it's sort of the same thing that I was like kind of going for, like a monotonal thing with like a drop off at the end.
Can't remember where you placed it. Can never feel the way it did.
I feel like I want to compress the shit out of it, for lack of a better term, and just see if I can make it sit underneath, like I said, without it really being that noticeable.
Remember where you placed it.
Only one way to find out.
Can never feel the way it did. Nothing ever goes wrong. Time to make it on your own. Sounds that make you feel at home. Seems you're better off alone. No, nothing ever goes wrong.
think it needs a little bit more like a reverby.
Remember where you placed it. Could never feel the way it did. Nothing ever goes wrong.
Maybe even like something. I want it to be wide to like hug it, but I don't want it to be like. I feel like if I make it stereo or put reverb on it and stuff, it's sort of like becoming more noticeable, because it's like if the main vocal is here, even though the main vocal is maybe a little bit stereo, if I make this underneath vocal more stereo, it sort of like peeks out from the sides and you can sort of hear it more. That's what's going on in my head. That's what I'm thinking. So I think it's like now I'm thinking maybe I make the main vocal a little less stereo by taking that micro shift up to allow this one to sit underneath, or to, I don't know.
Can't remember where you placed it. Could never feel the way it did. Nothing ever goes wrong. Time to make it on your own. Sounds that make you feel at home. Seems you're better off alone. No, nothing ever goes wrong.
That's kind of cool. It also could be to do with the performance. Like I could have little, you know, sibilances that are slightly off. That could be making it more noticeable.
Can't remember where you placed it.
That's sort of the idea, I guess.
Could never feel the way it did. Nothing ever goes wrong. Time to make it on your own.
Maybe it doesn't need to be in the first part.
Sounds that make you feel at home.
Maybe, what does that sound like?
Can't remember where you placed it. Could never feel the way it did.
Obviously it's gonna be delayed.
Nothing ever goes wrong. Time to make it on your own. Sounds that make you feel at home. Seems you're better off alone.
Really can, yeah.
No, nothing ever goes wrong. Yeah, it's time to make it on your own. It's love forever. To forget another life. Have you given it a try? It's love forever. I need more space to clear my mind. I know these thoughts are only mine.
Need more layered vocals in the chorus. Good stuff, though.
Spell it out and say my name. Yeah, don't you ever play the game.
Alright, so I think where we're at the moment is I need to record more vocals. I need to finish recording. This comping has been fun, but I definitely need to layer the second chorus a little bit more, add some vocal harmonies to the second verse. I'm gonna write all this down because I've got notes. I had a pen. It's not in my hat, is it? No. Let's just use another one, small. Yeah. 259. Yes. Need to record more vocals. Second chorus. Bellissima. Okay, well, I think that might be it for today's episode of Dear Plus. Thank you so much for watching. It's more, I didn't really make too much music. This is a bit of a different one this time, which I don't mind. Obviously, the music producer side of making beats and stuff, there's a lot of like background tasks that I find I'm usually like Googling and trying to figure out how to do all that stuff more proficiently, making all this like back end process more streamlined. So I hope this video sort of helps. Maybe it's not as, this video is not as streamlined because it's an hour and 15 minutes, but a lot of these ideas that I've sort of spoken about have really helped me become more productive as a producer, as a person who makes music, not for a living, not yet, but I would like it to be. And so I just feel like at this point, I'm getting to a point where as I'm waiting for the call, and then as soon as I get that call, I know that I'll be able to be proficient and productive and not get writer's block and want to make music and all the stuff that everyone stresses about every single day when you make music is like, how do you do it better? How do you be creative better? Which doesn't make much sense. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you all. Much love. Peace out. Stay safe. Corona. Let's get that shit out of here, huh? Mwah! Love you. Oh, Bella.
Time to make a mess.